recording out to everyone. All right, we'll start with questions for Tim. Ben.
Tim, best start in SEC play since the 60s, man. What's the confidence level of this team, and how do you feel like they're playing heading into Florida?
I mean, the confidence is really high. As you could probably see, we're really swinging it well together as a team and pitching it just as well. It's really great to have Doug back as well. Came back firing this past weekend. One of the best I've seen him pitch since he's been here. And, we're just rolling, got a lot of confidence and just trusting each other.
You've had an historically good March, man, at the plate. You started so slowly. Did you kind of know, though, as far as approach and how you're hitting the ball contact-wise, that this was coming, that success?
Yeah. I mean, I just was trusting myself. And, I think I've said it before, but Coach B kind of brought me in after the first week or two and just kind of said, keep trusting yourself. We all believe in you and keep doing your thing and, be a good leader for the other guys and just try to kind of focus on that and, have some confidence in myself. And, it's really helped me.
Nick.
Tim, Mike has said so many times that he always saw you hit like this in the falls and in the summer leagues. What has it meant to you to finally be able to put it together in a spring and kind of help lead this team from the middle of the lineup?
Oh, it's felt awesome. I've been here for a couple of years and, I really love this school and I'm really happy to be helping us win some games. And, it's really fun to have other guys around me that are hitting just as well, Kevin Graham and Peyton and all these other guys that, even if I can't do it, they're going to pick me up. 1 through 9, I think we're the most dangerous lineup in the league.
Bit of a homecoming for you this weekend and a lot of Florida guys on this team. Just how exciting is it for you to get to play in Gainesville?
Oh, it's going to be fun. I've been waiting for it. I was excited last year to be able to go down to Florida and, have a lot of my family there and, play at Florida. But, I'm super excited to get back home.
Parrish.
Hey, Tim, you guys obviously have put 2 sweeps together. Florida is coming off being swept. Think about this, if you would, from the Florida perspective. If you have been swept, how difficult is it for you as a player the following weekend not to press, not to be over anxious, but to just kind of let things come to you?
I think, losing like that happens. I mean, it's the SEC. It's the best conference in the country. And, Florida's a good team. So I don't think that they're going to be pressing that much. I think that they're just going to kind of, wipe that out of their memory, kind of like we would, and, just move forward and play how they can play. So, we got to be ready to go down there.
Thank you.
Chris?
Tim, personally, can you talk about the transition from third to first?
It hasn't really been that much of a, thing that's gone through my mind. Played a lot of first growing up, played some first last year and summer ball and everything like that. So, I'm really comfortable over there. I think playing on either corner, pretty similar. It's just, instead of throwing across the diamond, now I could just field it and toss to the pitcher. So, it's been a pretty easy transition.
Thanks.
Any more questions for Tim? All right, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, Gunnar. Parrish, you want to start us off? Parrish, you're on mute.
Yeah, I thought you unmuted me there, Davis. I was counting on you.
Sorry about that, Parrish.
Gunnar, now that we're everybody's square on the mutes here, look back to 2018 with me, if you would. Just what went into your decision to not sign with the Pirates? How tempting was that? And what do you think of that decision now?
It was very tempting out of high school, to be drafted in the first round. and it was a blessing for me and my family. But, I think there's a lot of things that went to that decision, not only on the baseball side of things, but also like academically. And, in my household, my mom and my dad always preach academics, and, getting my degree was a huge thing. And then on the baseball side of things, just knowing I can get better and learn under this great coaching staff and play in front of these great fans for the next 3 years. So that was my thinking behind that.
How do you feel like you've gotten better this season?
I just think a lot of things. I think the big thing was just improving my whole arsenal and being able to throw any pitch in any count, fastball, slider, changeup, and just commanding those pitches and just trusting my stuff.
Thank you.
Nick?
Gunnar, did you ever consider UF as the hometown school?
I took a visit there, yeah. It didn't come down to the final couple of decisions, but I visited there and talked to Coach Sullivan and stuff like that, but it wasn't one of my top decisions now.
Yeah, I mean, getting to go home and play in your home state with this opportunity, what does it mean to you?
Oh, it's huge. It's definitely a series I've looked forward to, and I know a lot of the guys on the team, and I think it'll be a good series.
Obviously, anytime you're pitching on Thursday or Friday in the SEC, you're going to pitch against other potential first rounders. But what has that been like for you these last couple of weeks, getting that opportunity?
Oh, it's awesome. Friday Night Lights and, facing off ace versus ace. And, it's great, and it fires me up, and, just trying to mow down the other opponent and, give your team the best chance to win.
Ben?
Have you noticed, Gunnar, a different level of play as far as you getting that 1-0 pitcher's duel against Auburn last week against Alabama, runs were at a premium while you were in there? Do you get a different sense of being that first guy out in terms of the quality of play and the quality of the game?
I think, Friday nights, runs are at a premium. So, I think that's a thing that I've learned the first 2 weekends. But, I think, that's going to change. And our offense, is really great. And, I just think that's how the 2 games, that's how they played out. But, I think that's just how the game sometimes is.
Any more questions for Gunnar? All right, Gunnar, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
While we get Coach situated, just one more reminder. If you're not currently on the email list and you want to receive recordings, just throw your email in the chat and we'll get it to you. On that note, questions for Coach. Ben?
Mike, kind of starting on an injury note, you mentioned Trey LaFleur a couple of weeks back having mono. Just where is he right now, and as far as getting better?
I think he has. I think it's next week sometime. I mean, he's still. He was able to. It's not COVID quarantine, but he was able to come by the practice facility on Monday. We wanted to make sure he wasn't contagious. So he's been kind of away from the building for a while. But when we get back, I think I should know the date. I apologize, but I know it's next week sometime. Sunday? Oh, that's right, because we said that Easter. Yeah. Jesus and LaFleur rise on Sunday. Don't print that because somebody's going to spin it in the wrong way, and I'm going to look really bad. So. Yeah, that's right. Sims just told me it's Sunday, and he's right. So he'll be back, Monday, and then we'll just have to see, where he is. It's quite a bit of time away from live pitching and those types of things. So we'll see where he is.
Mike, obviously there are a lot of kids on this team who are returning to their home state or around their hometowns. Just what do you say to kids to either lean into that excitement or kind of talk them down from their nerves when they have an opportunity like this?
I usually don't take that opportunity, except for maybe pitchers, and Doug and Gunnar have both pitched against Florida as freshmen. Now, again, to your point, this first time, they've pitched in Florida at Gainesville, but they pitched against them here as freshmen. And, I worry more about the pitchers, I think, just because, sometimes, the adrenaline can help you and sometimes the adrenaline can hurt you. As far as the position players, I think you take it, guy by guy. Tim's, played against them for quite some time. Bench was on that team. I don't think he played. I think he was still hurt at the time in 19 when we played him. So, but again, I guess it's not a secret, to just be who you are and continue to play the game the way you play.
Parrish?
Mike, when a team is coming off being swept in a conference series, in your experience, do you have to coach that team differently? Do you have to work harder to keep that team from being over anxious the next week?
I heard that question to Tim. That's a really tough question. And I don't know if there's just a right answer. It's really broad, and I think I would lean more to depending on where you think your team is, mentally and so on. I mean, I know we don't look at them any differently. That if they would have won 3 or lost 3, we know who they are. We know the history of their program. We know the players on their roster, and they've won a lot of games over the last several years, and so I don't know what Coach O'Sullivan, that's really up to him. As far as me, that my answer would be just depends on where my team is at that point. If I can notice that they need a kick in the rear, then I kick them in the rear. If I think they need a pat on the back, you pat them on the back. And but I think we all realize as coaches in this league, it's a very unforgiving league, and that's what makes it great. I think if you polled all 14 coaches and asked why is the SEC the #1 baseball conference outside the league, you may get a lot of answers like they got the best teams, they got the best facilities, they go to Omaha the most national championships, and whatever yardstick you want to measure it by. But I think inside the league we realize that 1 through 14 were the best, and not on a given day do we have the best team, but man, it doesn't matter who you're playing in our league. If you don't play well, you lose, and that's evident every week. And so sometimes sweeps happen on both sides, right? Sometimes you're on the good side of it, sometimes you're on the bad side of it, and all you can do is put the blinders on and try to play as best you can.
Help me with my history here, Mike. Have you had other first-round draft picks come to school other than Gunnar? Where was Alan Horn?
Alan Horn was a first rounder. Wow. I can't, not sure. We had a handful that would have fallen out of the first round or would have turned down, second round money, but got, pushed down, like Rollison turned down money in the second round, and or maybe even the sandwich, picks, before the second round. So, I think Alan Horn might be the only one.
What do you see in those guys when they're trying to make those decisions? What what is their struggle?
Probably what you would imagine. I mean, I think when you look at it, it's the biggest decision of their life. To that point, you're talking millions of dollars, and so do I go to school now, or do I turn down this money? Is this a mistake? Is this going to make me better? Am I going to regret this? I'm sure there's a ton of emotions, and not just for the player, but for moms and dads. I mean, can you imagine if you're a mom and dad trying to help, your 17 or 18-year-old son get through this, and, to tell him it's all right to turn down $2 million. I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty big decision. I don't know how many moms and dads would say, I want that burden on me. Right. And so I think it's the whole family. But one of the things that allows kids to go to school, I think, are a couple things. One, is confidence, and the confidence in their ability, that this is not the end all be all, that, I'm missing out on an opportunity. I mean, I'm going to go there, I'm going to improve, I'm going to get better. And, and not necessarily are you doing it to improve your stock. I think that's part of it. But I think the other part is that you want this opportunity. You want this opportunity to play college baseball. It's a neat thing. It's maybe the last real team that you'll ever be a part of, right? And what I mean by that, and we say this to the kids, is, it's more important that the team wins than how you perform on the field. In professional baseball, that's not true. It's more important how you perform on the field, or you're not employed very long, right? And so, at the end of the day, it's more important, for our guys, how our team does. And that's pretty cool and pretty neat. And that's how they grew up playing sports their whole life. Everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to go 4 for 4, but they'll take 0 for 4 and win, right? You can't do that in professional baseball. That's why nobody knows who came in second place in the Florida State League, right? Or the Texas League, or whatever minor league. I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, you watch ESPN now, all they talk about is contracts. They don't talk about the first place teams as much. And so there's a realization. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's real. And the other part is, the importance of that experience and that education. And one of the cool things is, Gunnar's going to get to have his cake and eat it too, because he graduated last May. He graduated in 2 years, so he's already got his degree. And so it's a pretty neat, story.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chris?
Mike, just what's the message you tell the guys as y'all go to Gainesville and everything? Because, it's a tough place to play at.
Yeah. Well, I think the message is the same wherever we go, because they're all tough to play at. I'm not trying to take anything about University of Florida. And I think we're all looking forward to, seeing the new stadium. We've seen it on television, and, I know they've worked really hard on it, and certainly a program that deserves, a stadium like that. With all their success. But, what we talk about a lot of times is, and I know it's boring coaches speak, but it's the best answer I have is, to put the blinders on and just play the game. Don't get caught up in all the other stuff. That's for you guys to write about. Our thing that I mention a lot is about the boring old habits, the fundamentals, and being able to play the game the right way. If you do that, you have a lot more fun at the end of the game, when the game's over. If you get caught up in all the other stuff, that's when, the game gets, more difficult than it already is. The game's already really hard. To make it, to start to worry about things that, don't matter and you don't control, I think is really, a recipe for disaster.
Nick?
Mike, how did Doug's chest respond after last week's outing? Anything lingering, or is he 100%?
Tremendous. Hasn't felt it a bit. So, we're, super, excited and thankful for that. He threw a bullpen yesterday, and I walked by him, this morning walking into the building, and I forgot to ask him, it didn't hurt him obviously during the pen. And so he went into the locker room, came out, and then started to go do some treatment in the training room. I said, man, I feel stupid, but I didn't even ask you about your chest. How you doing? He goes, don't even feel it. So it's all good news. He feels really good. And of course had, really good outing and felt, as good as you can feel, I think, coming out of an outing.
Ben?
Mike, for the first month, there was so much mixing and matching with the lineup. Now with TJ in center field, SEC Player of the Week, Peyton back, do you kind of feel like you've got your mix of guys that you're rolling with for a little while?
It is what it is right now. But, I think the lineup, as I've said from the very beginning, and I don't know if it was you, but somebody asked that early on. I think the lineup's fluid, and it's just because of that. I mean, there's sometimes guys are hitting, some guys I think are better matchups. The core of your guys, obviously, with Elko in the center, Chatagnier somewhere at the top. But I mean, you say that, but with Chatagnier batted first and second, kind of going back and forth, and we're still trying to figure that out a little bit. Graham and Elko seem to stay in the middle with Dunhurst. But again, I think it's somewhat fluid. We just some of it is what you're mentioning, which is true of the success of some of those guys, and some of it is just because there's not much after that. We've had some hurt guys and some guys that are out of there, and there's not as many options. I mean, we'll only dress 14 really eligible position players, going to Gainesville, and it's not because of limits. It's because That's who we are right now.
Any more questions for Coach? Okay. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.